Good afternoon. This is Debbie Broughton, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from St. Robert, Missouri, which is in south central Missouri near Fort Leonard Wood. If you live in the area, maybe we can get together and stamp sometime. I'm having to record this rather than be live because I couldn't get my laptop to show me if my live was working or not. So I decided it would just be better if I recorded this and then I'll upload it later. So today is my second day of the 12 days of Christmas, and we're gonna make this card here using the Horse and Sleigh DSP and stamp set and dies, and it's called a double Z. This is the first Z and this is the second Z. And it will sit like this when it's finished, so it can be a stand-up card. And now that I'm talking, I realized I didn't cut enough. I needed 2 of these and I only cut 1. So when it gets to that part, I will cut another. But let's get started. Okay, I decided to use this paper, Misty Moonlight, because these are the pieces of DSP that I plan to use. Of course, now I can't find the third piece. I had this all set up before I started. I think today's just gonna be one of those days. Let me see if I can find my piece that I had out over here. Oh no, I only need 2 pieces. This piece I don't know what I was thinking. I'm telling you, it's just been one of those days. I just need 2 sheets. So the first thing we're gonna do is take our cardstock, Misty Moonlight, and we are gonna cut it at 4 1/4, which is a half a sheet. And then we're gonna score it. I changed my blade not too long ago, and it seems like it might be getting dull already, which is kind of hard to believe it. I don't even think it's been 2 months. Okay, so we're gonna score it at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. There we go. So now I'm going to put the cutter away for a moment before we need to cut the next pieces. And I'm going to do the Z fold, which is you fold this one in and we crease it. I'm so used to looking at my laptop to see if anybody's commenting. I keep doing that. I don't have to, I'm not live. And then we fold this one back and crease it. So that's very easy. This is your just normal 1 Z fold card. And we're just gonna make it to be into a double by adding in that little piece in the front, which I've already cut this piece. And it is 11 by 1 1/2, and I've scored again at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. So we kind of have the exact same fold that we have there, only it's just a little bit opposite. So there you go. So now on this piece, before we do anything else, we are going to glue down some DSP. I used the back of a piece of DSP it looks like this wood grain. And when I cut this off, I had enough left so I could just make a regular sized card with the rest of it. Because I cut off like 2 inches. I will tell you these dimensions. I don't know what's wrong with my cutter. I guess I will have to change it. This one is cut at 5 1/4. No, I'm sorry. at, yeah, 5 1/4 by 1. And this one is cut by 2 1/2 by 1. And what I need to do is cut this one 2 1/2 by 1. So let me get my cutter up here and cut 2 1/2. Okay. Wow, that really cut bad. I must have cut more cards this last month than I thought. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and add these here since I have them. Those little pieces are gonna drive me crazy. So we're gonna put that one there. This one here. Let me push this up just a little bit. Oh, how about that? Just drag it right down. So I got this piece, and then I just have to do this piece. Before I cut out the DSP for the rest of the card, I'm gonna change my blade because this is, you can tell when it's getting dull because it likes to leave little fray pieces there. And I don't want to have my whole card be that way. Hold on. Let me get my blade and I can show you how to change a blade in the cutter. This will be a good learning tip. So here's my cutter. I'm going to hold it this way so you can see the whole thing. Down about here, there's this little slot that's just a little bit wider than the rest of the slot. And that's where you can kind of pop out your blade at. Sometimes they want to pop out easy. Other times you have a little bit of difficult popping them out. There it comes. I got one side of it. My nails do not help in this operation of changing blades either. Okay, I got one side to pop out. I've never had such trouble. There we go. So, we're going to throw that one away. We're going to get out a new, I think, can you tell that my dog thought maybe he could open the new blades? He just loves to come in my stamper room and find something to chew on. So now I have a brand new blade and I'm going to look for that little spot. I know you can't see, but if you hold your cutter like this, you'll be able to see it. It's just a little spot that's kind of like a little extra cutout. And that's where you're gonna put in the little bars or the little knobs next to the blade that hold it in. There you go. And so now, it is all set. And we should be able to get a clear cut. Unless it's because something's in the track of my cutter, but we shall see when we do this. So here is my two pieces that I'm going to use to decorate the outside and the inside of the card. So the thing I have to watch is cutting it by 4. Because I don't want to cut off all 4 down here because then I really wouldn't have very much of the bottom and a lot of sky. And then if I do it this way, I have too much bottom and I've cut off that whole tree. So So I kind of played with this before I got on here, and I decided that if I take 1.5 inches off here, because I have to take 2 off altogether, I'm going to take 1.5 off here. Look at how smooth, no little frays. I could save this for the inside of another card. And so that leaves me 1/2 inch. So I'm going to cut 1/2 inch off of the top. But you could play with each piece that you use will be different on how you want to cut it. You want to cut out the top and the bottom when you're doing this at the same time, so that when you cut them this way, they'll still line, the horizon lines will still line up. So we need we need 2 pieces that are 4 by 2.5. So we're going to say 2.5. And 2.5. Which is 5, which means you'll have 1 inch left over. Again, you could do something on the inside of a card, or maybe you could do a strip card with those. So here's our 2 pieces for these 2 flaps, this flap and this flap. And if you notice, the fence will meet, the horizon line meets, everything meets, so it'll be like one continuous picture. So now we're going to work with our other piece. On this one, I used 2 separate pieces, so these 2 match, and then I picked this one as my bigger piece. But I think it would look better if I had it one continuous paper, so that's what I'm going to do today with the one I'm showing you. So let me move these out of the way. This one has to be 5 1/4 by 4. So we're going to do the exact same thing we did before. We're going to cut off 1.5 inches. Off the bottom. Save this for another card, and then 1/2 inch off the top. And see how we still get a little bit of that misty moonlight at the top. Now this should fit if everything's right and I haven't messed it up, which I'm not always going to guarantee I didn't. Oh, I forgot to do the 5 1/4 across. So I think I'm going to cut this piece off because it looks kind of funny with that tree there. It might look better if it lined up without that tree there. So we're going to do a 5 1/4. And now we're going to line this up. Well, why am I still off some? 1.5 inches and 1/2 should be 4. Should count as 2, but I'm like 1/4 inch off, so that's okay. We're just gonna take, this is new learning. We're gonna take 1/4 inch off the bottom. And we're just gonna hope that it all still ends up even. Maybe it's a good thing I didn't do this live, because I might just have to do this whole card over again. So again, we're gonna see how these line up. The fence lines up, the horizons line up. Now this one should go here on the front. This one will go here. And as soon as we cut another 1/4 inch off here, right? Because we didn't cut that yet. Correct. Stamping always looks easy until you turn on a video and start recording. Then things just start going wrong for me. So I just want to be sure that I have this cut right now. You always kind of want to check this anyway, even when you're cutting, just so when you go to lay it down, you want to be sure that it's the right size so you don't have to peel it back up. So now everything should pretty well match all the way across. That did work out for me. Where all the horizons and the fence, they're all lining up. There we go. Okay, so we can start gluing. Again, I looked for the comments, but there are none. I don't know how long this is gonna take to upload to Facebook either when I get done, but I guess I shall see. So there's piece number 1. Piece number 2. I just have to pick it up a little bit and hold it a little bit closer so I can be sure I have it straight. Piece number 2 and piece number 3. I just love this one horse open sleigh DSP. I'm thinking you could just almost make cards by just using this as a card front and stamping Merry Christmas in the sky. I almost have this here. Okay. And there we go. I am glad that I took this tree off of this side so that I didn't have that half of a tree there, because that might have looked funny. There we go. A complete scene. The next part we're going to do is we're going to take our second Z fold and we're going to fold it like this. We're going to put some adhesive back here, but we don't want to go too far because we don't want to glue it to the card. So we're just going to put some adhesive back here. And we're going to put some adhesive back here. And we're going to try hard not to get it on our fingers. And we want to kind of line it up right with the edges of the card. There we go. It might hang over just a tad. So I'm going to just kind of trim that off so it'll lay better. Find my scissors. It's just like a hair. Which doesn't make sense because they both should be 11 inches long, 8.5 by 11. Okay, so can you tell what I did wrong? I forgot to stamp before I put it all together so that if I make a mistake, I won't have to take the paper off the card to try to fix it. So what we're going to hope is I can stamp Season's Greetings Season of Cheer very carefully across here. And it's a photopolymer stamp, so I'm going to want to use my piercing mat or pad just as soon as I find it. I really thought I had it laid out over here for me. Okay, hold on, and I'm going to get a different piercing mat. What I have sometimes when I have a lot of people coming to stamp at it in person thinking I don't have enough piercing mats for everybody, I use a piece of it's Fun Foam. And it's enough, it gives just enough, you know, little cushy for the stamp. So, we're going to put this on the block. I put it on diagonally so that it would fit well. I need to pick up my glue here. Okay, this is going to say, wishing you a season of cheer. And excuse me if my head's in the way, but I really, since I only get one chance at this, I'm trying to make it be as straight as I can on my first shot. And that worked. You would just have to know how many times I've had to restamp a greeting. But not this time. So now what I want to do is, I have some trees here. I cut these out with the One Horse dies. And they just look like little winter trees, kind of like these trees in the background, but I made them be Misty Moonlight. You can make them be whatever color you like. And then I'm going to add a little Wink of Stella to them. Let me get it turned to the right side. Now I know that you can't really see Wink of Stella that much on the video, but it just adds a little sparkle to them so it looks like there's a little frost hanging on their branches. Now I was thinking that I could have put an adhesive sheet underneath this so that I would be easier for me to glue them down, but this one that's up here wouldn't need a whole piece of adhesive. So I guess that's maybe why I didn't do that, because I usually try to do that on these little things. So now I'm just gonna have to put little dots of glue. And like I said, remember this one here is going to not have any glue on the top. Now, if you could see, I have a little extra glue there. As soon as this dries, I could take my embossing buddy and pounce it on there, and it'll help it from being sticky. And then I'm going to put, these two trees are the same way. You don't need any on the top, but you do need some on the bottom. So I'm going to do that to these. Turn it over so you can see the Wink of Stella side. Now you're just gonna have to, first let me move this Fun Foam. And I'm gonna put one kind of right here, because I do have a tree right there on this one. So I don't wanna cover that up. And then this one I'll just put a little bit higher, being careful that I don't let it go off the card so that it gets folded in the envelope. And then we just have, oh, see, that makes a nice bunch of blue trees there. someone will be very happy to be able to set that up at Christmas time on their mantle or on their table. And then I have one last thing to do. If I could find them. Why is everything, I have everything laying here. Here it is. Then I go to look and I set the stamp set on top of the snowflakes, so I didn't see them at first. So I'm going to use the spatula side of my pick-a tool, and I'm going to pick up 3 white snowflakes, and I'm going to kind of put one over here, one up here in this corner. And then I'm trying to decide where should I put the other one. Because you won't really see it that much if I put it here on this middle panel. So I'm gonna put it on this panel. And that way you can see all 3 when it's standing up. And maybe I'll just put it right here by these trees. Okay, there we go. So there's snowflakes, there's snow, there's tree, there's a greeting. If you wanted to, maybe you could add a ribbon somewhere. I wasn't sure where to add a ribbon since I don't really have a focal point. The DSP is kind of being my focal point. But maybe you could have even run some of the new balmy blue sparkly ribbon here in the middle. It's all up to you. I'm just trying to give you the basic ideas, and then you can go for it and make them your own. I need to crease this a little bit now since I'm finished with it. So it won't lay completely flat with the way the Z-fold is, but it does pretty good. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and join me tomorrow for day 3 of 12 days of stamping. Bye.